With the loss of freedoms being more the norm over the last few years in Canada, it's always peculiar to me to see that there are people who are anti freedom. They're against freedom protesters. And beside me is Tammy, who may have been targeted by those people. You're not going to want to miss this report. Drea Humphrey here with Rebel News. This is Tammy. We're not going to share the last name, and I don't blame you for that because you believe you were targeted.
So I was a part of the original Freedom Convoy 2022, and every Saturday, almost every Saturday, there's a convoy of whatever type to head into Vancouver to protest or rally to keep our freedoms that we're slowly losing piece by piece. And as we were coming up to the McGill exit, I was paint bombed. Like 3/4 of my truck was covered in white paint. So all I can say is the 4 gentlemen who were dressed from head to toe in black, or the gentleman with the bright green face, threw paint over the overpass and nailed me and approximately 6 other vehicles.
Yeah, we're seeing this more and more. These masked individuals, often in black, some call them Antifa, coming out and targeting people. Now, I should stress that the protest that you were on your way to was, in fact, a peaceful protest, as it has been week after week, year after year at this point. But how dangerous is it for paint to be thrown on the highway while you're driving at those speeds?
Very, very. We're very lucky that not one person hesitated and slammed on their brakes. We were in Vancouver on Highway 1 doing the speed limit, almost the speed limit. We were doing probably 80 or 90. And if any one of us had hit our brakes or hesitated, it could have been serious injury or possible death.
This is very serious, very wicked. We've seen things like this before where people throw things, even as a prank, over an overpass, and it does result in death. I reached out to the Vancouver Police Department. They are investigating a mischief after a driver reported having their vehicle struck with paint thrown from the overpass on the Trans-Canada Highway last weekend. Suspects have not yet been identified. And actually, just as I got here, you got a call from a constable. Tell us what that was about.
She just called to, I guess, finally find out what actually transpired that day, 5 days later. I gave her all the information I could, and we'll see what happens after that. Unfortunately, my truck will not be repaired until April 13th. So until then, I guess they can't do anything further with my case for the vandalism until they have the cost of the repairs to my truck.
You were asking the officer, is it illegal to have my flags? You've got huge Canadian flag up there, a BC flag, which is wrecked actually from the paint. And how did you get the paint off of your car to this point? I know there's still lots of work to be done.
So, not to get in trouble, but we took my vehicle to a car wash, which, by the way, you're not allowed to do with paint, and washed off what we could. Now, majority of it came off the body of my truck. The plastic, not so much. The rubber, not so much. And there is paint inside my engine compartment. I won't know until the April 13th, and they ripped the front end off as to how much damage was done to my air conditioner, my radiator, and my air vents.
Just to recap my question, why are you still doing the convoy, and how does it feel to have been targeted if you were?
You know what? I convoy because I don't want my brand new grandson, who is 6 months old, to not have the freedoms that I have enjoyed, that my children, who are just barely adults, are starting to lose. Digital ID, Bill 36. Check that one out, guys. That's your healthcare nurse, your doctors and your nurses. Our freedoms need to be kept free. I'm sorry. I have a right to fight for my freedoms. And yes, you have the right to disagree with me. You do not have the right to vandalize my vehicle and chance killing me.
And killing others as well. Well, you couldn't have said
Sorry,
it. And
I'm angry. I've been doing this for a year, over a year. And you know what? Like I said, you have your right to your opinion. I have the rights to mine. And just so you know, according to the Vancouver PD, it is perfectly legal for me to be flying my 5 foot by 3 foot flags.
Very concerning that that is something that could get you targeted today. At Rebel News, we don't only fight to bring you the other side of the story that the state backed media tends to not cover, we also help you stand for freedoms in many ways. And we have done so when it comes to the COVID, medical tyranny, and all that over the past couple of years. So if you appreciate that Rebel News has our boots on the ground to bring you reports like this, you should know we don't take a penny from the Trudeau government. We rely on people just like you. So if you'd like to support us, you can go to rebelnews.com and hit donate.
I support Rebel Media as they're the only news outlet that has taken the time to actually find out what happened and how much damage has been done. The mainstream media doesn't fit their narrative, so I guess they don't care.
It's a sad state in our country when you can be targeted for bearing the country's flag. If you appreciate the news that Rebel News brings you, go to rebelnews.com and donate what you can to support us. We appreciate your support.